What is happening, fishers? Today I'm here with Steve, aka Mouse Roberts. He's the creator of Mouse-Made Lures. He makes a huge variety of different surface plugs, guys. Crazy colors, shapes, designs. So anyway, Steve, how did you decide and to start? What made you to start making lures?
Actually, it was kind of Andre Mulherby and I got into a bit of a thing about making lures. He made some, I made some. We went back and forward with it a bit, but it also I hadn't really tried fishing with surface plugs before. And then when I actually tried using some of the ones that I'd made, I suddenly started catching a lot of fish locally.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, and it kind of the bug bit from there. So it also very much started as just doing something with stuff that was lying around in spare time. The materials that he used all originally were basically recycled plastic from plastics companies around East London. Guys generously gave me a lot of offcuts and things, crystallite in particular. I was helped out a lot. And yeah, it out of trial and error, different things happened, different lures came about. Some of them worked in different ways, and it developed from there.
Okay, so like, listen, I know Mouse just mentioned that, so pretty much the lures are pretty much made out of all recycled products, guys. Good for the environment. I know you mentioned earlier, made out of plastic, which is not great, but it's recycled plastic. So better than it ending up in the trash cans and on our beaches. It's been put into a beautifully made lure. So listen, I've seen a huge different varieties. Any of your favorites that you can point out to us?
Yeah, pretty much all of them.
they're all his favorites.
I only make them because they work. Those ones because they work. I've got boxes of other ones that maybe don't work as well. But at the same time, these are ones that I particularly enjoy using. And some of them are pretty unique. They've either been adaptations of other people's lures or things that I saw or actually just noticed by doing weird things with them. What I call the shad lolly, which is a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek on the old, the much better known product.
Yeah.
And that's basically just a chisel nose plug. It's weighted pretty much towards the back, so it's got a tail heavy action. That's pretty much your standby plug, And I've made those in different configurations. Where you've got, for instance, the heavier ones. There's like a 2.5, and you'll see that it's I don't know if you can see the two next to each other. The one's a lot thicker than the other one, and a lot heavier. So that one's beautiful for throwing if you've got the wind behind you, or you've got a nice flat sea in front of you. If you're going to try and throw into the wind,
you're going to battle a bit.
You've got bad current or something out there, that's your one to use, the heavier one. It's also a bit thicker, it's a bit denser. There's a lot to do with the density of your lures as to how they're going to react on the surface. One that I particularly enjoy that I believe are unique at this stage is the flapper, which also a bit of a tongue-in-cheek story, but we won't go into that.
Yeah.
But the thing is this one's pretty much designed to be able to really throw far.
Okay.
That's because of the teardrop shape. And then because initially what I was really targeting was shad, and shad tend to like either a slow or a stop-start retrieve more than just a flat-out pull it along the surface. So this one's got a very wide range of action. So you can pull it really slowly. I mean, literally let it stop and sit in the water and then pull it so that it flaps along the surface, or else actually pull it straight, and it will still give you a decent action because of the teardrop shape. And like I say, it's also really designed to throw with a lot of wind around. So, yeah, that's probably my go-to favorite, the flapper, and then obviously the shad lolly. The slinkies are more also for, I'd say, when you want something that you can really pull fast.
Yeah.
And they have got quite a crazy action because they tend to go violently side to side. And again, heavier versions for wind. They are quite bulky, so they move a lot of water.
Yeah.
And then there's more the slimline version, which you'd use more in calmer water. And then other ones that particularly I enjoy is flat sprat, which is kind of, I tend to fish, I don't know, you probably do the same. I've got a heavy rod and a light rod.
Correct, yeah. You carry normally two or three rods with you.
And quite often it's fun just to use the light one. So I've developed these more for throwing as a heavy lure on my light rod.
Oh, okay.
It's got a little cutout in the tail there, which makes it a bit less prone to spiraling when you throw. So it tends to throw a lot easier. And also it leaves a nice tail behind, so it causes a lot of disturbance. Also a very effective shad stop-start
retrieve on it.
Yeah. That's pretty much the ones that I've got going at the moment. There's also the mouse plugs, which are there. These are also, if the shad are around and they're there thick, that's like your go-to
one there.
You're just going to throw that thing. It's very much a side-to-side jiggly little thing. It's basically a fat needle nose.
Yeah.
So obviously it's got a lot more action.
Quite an erratic reaction on that.
Yeah. And you can also pull it quite fast. So it does work for that as well. And then it's always a case of these things are evolving as time goes by. Get a new idea. I have had quite a few times from guys who've ordered something specific.
Yeah.
Which I've made, which can, I haven't got any at the moment. I think I sold them all. But again, basically how I operate is I have made on order for guys. If I make for myself for specific use, I'll make a batch of lures at the same time. So you find that the batches tend to all be the same. But at the same time, if I get an order for a certain number of things, then I'll make extra, and then those end up as my stock.
As for sale.
Yeah. I haven't sold before open, except at the festivals and stuff that we've had locally, because I wasn't too sure whether there was any type of a market for them. But obviously you've seen the guys are willing to...
The guys are itching to get these lures.
Yeah, a few that I've handed out over time, the guys have begun to treasure them, and they seem to enjoy using them, so that's good to know. New ones in development as well.
Yeah, I see that you showed me some crazy looking ones. One looks like a little, oh, that's the wrong one. I think that's it there.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I almost took your finger out. Super sharp hooks, guys.
Kaiju hooks.
And then there's also something quite special that Mouse showed me out.
Yeah, this is kind of an idea that I kind of worked with Andre on, trying to get some sort of an idea of how it worked. So essentially, it's a splug. It's a spoon plug, and the idea is you throw it out there, it'll land. You give it a little tug, it'll sit flat in the water. It's weighted, and then it's got a convex on the side, so it will start sinking and it starts flashing as it sinks. And then as soon as you give it a good tug, it'll come straight up to the surface again.
I've seen it's got that that rocket to it.
Yeah, and then it starts
sinking
fluttering back down. It's very much like a Yuzuri flutter stick.
Flutter stick, yes. They work in the same principle, correct?
Very much, because we initially tried with stick baits, but stick baits are rather difficult in our type of conditions.
You've got too much water. They're washing.
Yeah, you can use stick baits where you've got clean sort of current and that sort of thing, but with the amount of wash,
it's going to turn on its side and wash.
Your lines going in two different directions at the same time. A stick bait just can't handle that. So this was it's in development, very much so.
Yeah. Something to look forward to in the future.
Yeah, but the first one I used caught a couple of fish, but unfortunately got hooked up. So anybody who dives out there where I fish,
if they find one of those, they know it belongs to you. Anyway, guys, so listen, off the bat, Mouse has been fishing for lures his whole life, as you can hear. I think he knows more about lures than anyone else does. I've just learned a lot quite quickly about his contours and shapes and everything that goes into it. And as he did mention, all these colors are colors that he's used and worked for him. So, opposed to buying...
Colors are a personal thing, but it's also, it seems to be weird how certain colors work in certain areas.
No, correct. It's always geographically, it does change.
And I mean, going back over the whole time I've ever fished, from fly fishing to rapalas to drop shot, at certain times, at certain places certain colors.
The light colors is going to make a difference.
So, I basically look at it from, somehow you can't go wrong with pink, with just about anything in the sea, which is very strange. And then the pink and green.
You mentioned earlier that's probably one of your hottest colors.
I've never really understood that because it isn't the most natural of
No,
combinations.
there's not too many fish out there that have got pink like that. But anyway,
It works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just one of those weird color combinations. The other thing is fish obviously don't see like we do, so they're not seeing the same colors.
yeah, I did a little bit of research the other day.
Yeah,
They
so
don't see color at all like we see color.
yeah,
Yeah,
it must be the amount of contrast between
exactly
the two.
what it comes down to. Yeah,
Yeah, and then blue is kind of a winner with anything. You know, anything in the ocean that's blue. Some of the more exotic colors, some of them were requests, but other ones also just from ones that worked.
okay.
The purple and green and purple and yellow seem to work particularly well in low light conditions. So, you know, other ones more realistic
Yeah,
like that one.
yeah. This is like you're looking at something that mimics a sardine and a needlefish in one.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's pretty much it, guys. It's got the same little dots as the sardine does down the side, and it's definitely the profile of a needlefish.
And that, as I say, that's one of the new ones I'm trying. And
Yeah.
I took it for a throw last night, and the action is nuts. It's really crazy. So, yeah, that's definitely one. You know, it's tricky because a lot of the places, you know, the places.
Yeah, so we fish the same area.
Yeah, they're fairly tricky. Things like treble hooks. You can't throw a lure out there with a treble hook
Yeah,
because not coming back.
I'm going to butt in there quickly. I noticed all your hooks are fitted with, all your lures, guys, are fitted with single hooks. Good
Yeah.
qualities. Tell us about the hook.
Kaiju, mustard, very good quality.
Okay.
I haven't had one go on me yet. I have had another type straighten once
Yeah.
before. So
Yeah, these are really good. Fished them before.
they're good, and especially for the size to. Sometimes with a heavier wire hook, especially with
a bit of
predator fish,
yeah.
they'll enlarge the hole to the point where
tear it out
where
too
the
much.
hook will tear out. Yeah.
And then why did you choose
Single
hooks over trebles? Tell us.
Two reasons. One is treble hooks out here just don't come back. You're going to hook some rock bait or some seaweed or something, so you're probably going to get hooked up. And secondly, if you're going to catch and release, especially shad, it's not going to work with treble hooks.
Trebles cause some ugly damage, as you mentioned earlier, ripping their faces off and things.
Yeah, the best thing to do with a shad that's been caught on a treble hook is kill it quick.
Yeah.
Because it's suffering already. So yeah, that obviously part of it. And personally, I think that you probably get a much better hookup, especially if you're after decent fish.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much shad, but leeries
and your bigger game fish.
Yeah, with fish that have got a more meaty mouth.
Yeah.
You're going to get a much better hook.
Better
with
penetration with a single hook than a treble hook.
Single and with a treble, and a cleaner hook too, because quite often with a treble you get partial hooks. And that's why they pull so often. And then other than that, packaging was a bit of a.
Looks awesome. I looked at this packaging, a bit unique.
Objected to packaging them in plastic packets because I hate picking up other people's rubbish on the beach.
So it makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so it's stuck on a piece of board. If you take it fishing with you with the package on, you can use it as a mini bait board until you can throw it away or recycle it.
Or a brass starter.
Or use it as a brass starter, yeah. But there's nothing to throw away, hopefully. Unfortunately, you lose the odd lure.
Yeah. There's one thing that makes these lures unique, guys. All the plastic is made out of recycled plastic. Obviously, the hooks are new. The wood's recycled, so it's all secondary waste, guys. There's nothing that's been created from new, which is nice. Yeah. Good for the environment, which I think Steve's quite a big ambassador for with the environment. I know the first time we met, he shouted at me because I was doing something on the rocks I shouldn't. So that's how we became friends. I know he's a big ambassador of the environment, and we respect that and like that, and now we're best friends.
Yeah, no, it's difficult because we live in a very, very special part of the world. And it gets to me sometimes that people don't appreciate
respect the rules,
but it also gets silly sometimes because you are one of the people who has the privilege of being able to come.
Correct. I'm living on the sea. Yeah.
Whereas other guys will walk here from miles away.
Yeah.
Obviously because it's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And then leave their rubbish behind and go back home and kind of spoil it for everybody who comes after them.
That's what we find. It's normally the guys that aren't from the area that end up messing it up, not looking after it.
Yeah, it's the idea of being mindful of the environment. The other day I was out at where we throw out there and I found someone had lost about 150 meters of braid and trace all along the edge of that ledge. And going all the way out trying to retrieve this stuff because you know yourself, it's full of oyster catchers, that ledge, there's cormorants diving there. you've got to just be mindful and try and avoid damaging the environment as little as possible. And as much as possible too, limit your catch to what you're going to eat and use yourself. I think the days are gone when we can sort of indulge and make pigs of ourselves in the ocean.
No, I think that's why it's in the state it is now, because I think a few generations of that.
Everybody thought it would never come to an end.
I was part and parcel of that too in my younger years, so it's fine.
Yeah,
we're all part and parcel of it.
We had to grow up and learn the hard way, unfortunately. Correct. But there's hope for us because other countries have done it.
Yeah.
It takes a bit of effort. What is nice to see, particularly with the people who fish in our area, and that is there does seem to be a high level of personal responsibility of people. If I think back in long ago, this section of coast used to be open. Believe it or not, it's hard to believe it now when you see what it looks like. But there used to be beach buggies driving up and down.
Yes, well, I've seen a.
Yes,
it's not called the engine block,
gully,
the engine gully for nothing. There's literally an engine still in the sand there for I don't know how many years ago, guys.
Yeah,
we walked past it. It's one of the mile
markers. I
markers.
believe it was the late 1970s.
Okay, as far back as that.
Yeah. Anyway, but you can see yourself how the coastline has eroded.
Yeah.
And how it made such a difference to what happens down there. It changes over time. We've all become much more aware of it. People have become a lot more responsible.
Yeah, I've seen a big change because, like, going back 10 years, you catch a cob, everyone's like, how did it taste? Now, first thing they ask you, did you release it? So there's a big.
You can get called out on a lot of
stuff. Was it released straight
yeah.
away? The first question you're going to get asked. So that is a good sign. The oaks are a bit more aware of what's happening.
It is also. It's something that I've noticed. I've kind of been a bit wary about when I saw all you guys doing these YouTube things and that, and just say, wow, you guys are going to get called out over stuff sooner or later, And it is. I know I did a lot of fly fishing quite some years ago, and they get very. I won't say elitist, but there's a very certain way of protocols about how you handle fish and things like that, at the top end of it, and in some cases, the fact that you should not be touching that damn fish. But at the same time, everybody else is also getting a bit much. We see nowadays guys reviving fish when they release them.
Same things
Quite often, if you just throw a fish back, it's just going to go find it.
It's going to belly up and wash off somewhere and down.
That's it. So it's nice to give a fish time to recover. People get more responsible with releasing. And like you say, I think that what has been very nice to see is how many more people, especially with YouTube, the proliferation of YouTube stuff, is how many more of them feature the release of successful release of fish. Rather than a fish
in the pan.
Although at the same time, I'm not going to call you out if you're going to eat a fish.
Because it's your right to eat a fish.
And it's nice to have a fresh fish every now and then, because otherwise you've got to eat the stuff you get from the stores,
the
which
boxes
is not so fresh.
That's not fish.
So it's that side of it. But the level of responsibility is the thing that everybody has to work towards, and it's good to see it's happening.
Anyway, guys, so that's a quick introduction to mouse-made lures. Guys, if you're looking for premium quality surface plugs that work, every single one of those are brand new, have caught fish. I've just looked at Mouse's collection of all the lures he's used. He's got a whole hanger there full.
It's a bit embarrassing sometimes.
No, it's fine. I would love that. That's like my dream room to go in. It's just lures hanging everywhere, guys. Made lures, fully recyclable. I think probably one of the only lures I've ever heard of that's made out of all recycled products besides the hook, which no one's going to use a recycled hook. Once you've caught a fish in it, it's technically a recycled hook. So premium quality lures, they've been made with years and years of experience putting these lures. The lures have been tested. I see Steve down day after day doing his thing, testing his lures, fine-tuning his lures. Beautifully handmade, variety of colors. We'll leave the link below in YouTube. Steve's got a Facebook page going, a direct contact number for Steve. If you are interested in purchasing any of these lures, guys, the prices are
these are the specials.
Very competitive. The special is running at the moment. We've run this for this video.
It's kind of a case of I make, and then what's left over goes on sale.
On sale,
and for orders, also obviously, depending on what guys want to order. If they want to order custom, I have made rather large custom orders for certain people, but these guys are serious. They pay premium prices. So if you want to order as well.
So if I specifically want 10 of those, you'd put, you know what I mean? If I put an order, I don't know the quantities,
I'd be able to put out if you wanted 10, because it's going to get awfully boring for me after a while. But at the same time, I'll give it a whirl.
Yeah, so anyways, if you want a particular style of lure or color, particular order, get hold of Steve and he will make that batch up for you.
Yeah. But as I say, these are special prices. You could expect to pay a bit more for them.
Yes, yeah.
But at the same time, I think you'll agree, once you've thrown a few, tried them, seen what it's like, you're probably going to think it's worthwhile.
Okay. Awesome, Steve. Well, thank you for all your
I'd like to thank you guys for having me on.
We're definitely going to get our hands on one or two of these and give these a whirl and get some fish on camera.
As long as you catch some fish.
No, we're going to catch fish. We're going to catch fish. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
It might take us 5 minutes, might take us an hour, but we're going to catch fish on them. I'm no expert lure fisherman. I've been snooping when Steve fishes. But I'm sure he's going to give me a quick 5 minutes rundown on how to fish each one. And we'll, I don't know which one I'm going to fish, but just one of them. And then we'll give it a bash tomorrow morning if the sea is right. It'll be super cool if we get onto a fish for you guys with one of these lures. We'll make it happen. And then I think we're going to look for a swimming pool somewhere sometime. And we might bring Steve with us and get some good footage of these things actually swimming.
Yeah, no, it would be nice. Particularly, I'd like to see some of it in slow motion, because it's very hard to pick it up on when you're watching normally. It looks really good.
Yeah.
But also,
So if anyone's got a nice, big, deep, clean swimming pool that we can borrow, a nice long one, please let us know. Because I'll probably jump in at the bottom with the underwater camera and then we can get some footage out. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. Steve, Mouse, thank you so much for your time, my friend. Anyway, guys, we'll see you all soon. Cheers.
Enjoy. Take care.